When we were first approached about this idea to put his name on a building, we just knew that this is exactly what he would want us to do.
I remember after he passed thinking, no one's gonna know him anymore. Knowing that people will continue to know who he was is really important.
The names that are on that wall, Robert, Ebert, Brave, Stubblefield, are there for a reason, because they are the people that exemplify the key attributes to get one through a very, very difficult time. That's what they represent, and that's what this Head and Neck Tumor Center represents. I am a cancer survivor. I felt that I have a survivor's obligation to get involved with a project like this to impact many of the people that are going through or went through the same treatments and challenges that I went through, and how we can do this in a much better way.
My dad and I had a very unique relationship. We were incredibly close. I remember it so well. I was at work and he texted me and said, I need you to come over for dinner tonight. I have something to tell you. And he's never been that kind of guy. He was never so serious. He just gathered us around the kitchen island and said, girls, I've been diagnosed with stage 4 carcinoma. We have a really difficult road ahead, but we're gonna make it through, no matter what. Even though cancer is obviously such a terrible thing, I think it almost brought our family closer together because we had to rally around him, and it brought so many other people closer to us as well. People like Joe Koenig that I'm not sure that we would have necessarily known had their battles not have happened at the same time.
Just found out through my wife, let me know through Facebook posts about Pray for Brave, found out his diagnosis, and that's where our relationship really started to move in a direction. He had a sense of positivity, a sense of optimism that honestly I've never seen before.
To achieve the things that we've achieved in our life, both personally and professionally, you have to think you're invincible. And nobody has a life free of adversity. But the real question is how you deal with it.
I'll never forget a specific doctor came into my dad's room in his final days and said, Greg, I want to let you know that as a patient, you've made me a better doctor. He made an impact. And that is exactly why we're here today, because we want to continue that.
My dad had a really unwavering sense of who he was and his morals and his values. And so I think people like that tend to draw others to them as a leader. We would hear him say jokingly all the time, whether or not we were complimenting on something or something like that, he would be like, oh, well, I'm strong like bull. And that would kind of be a joke. And then when he got his diagnosis and had to go through a lot of the challenging treatments, he used that kind of as his motto.
We were over at his house on New Year's Eve. He said to all of us, hey, I'm getting a biopsy in my neck. And then a week later, maybe, he called me and said, I just was diagnosed with throat cancer. And I'm like, what? That started a whole different part of our relationship. And it was going to be a tough road for him.
I had made a huge poster. I drew a bull and colored it in and had, written things on it. And it was in his room. And obviously he couldn't speak. And so the nurse went to reposition him and he shook it off and he pointed at himself and he pointed at the bull poster and was like, no, I'm strong. I can do this. I don't need, your help moving me. I think the scariest part at the beginning was trying to identify making the right choices. So the right providers, the right plan of care, the right treatment, there were choices at some point in that road. And he had to decide, is this the right course for me? And I think when he finally realized having his care here at Siteman Cancer Center with these providers and the recommended treatment was the right course for him, there was that relief, that pressure of making those choices was gone. So many cities aren't lucky enough to have this type of care in their hometown, and people commute and stay in hotels and use everything to get to somewhere that provides care like we get here in our backyard.
And so what family means in a journey like this, and I think that exemplified both of them and the individuals that they were, the importance of what family meant to them. But it goes back to after my treatments were over, I started to spend more time with the doctors and became friends with several of them and provided feedback on, hey, what was like going through my journey? And they're like, well, do you want the Joseph painted head and neck tumor center? I'm like, no, I don't want my name anywhere near that. How about doing it in memory of people that lost their battle? And two of my good friends, Robert Ebert and Brave Stubblefield. A tumor center like this is one key component that will drive enormous impact on so many. So I'm excited about it, I'm humbled by it, honored by it. I'm just really happy about being part of this whole endeavor.
What he cared about throughout his battle with cancer was making sure that future patients had more access to treatment, easier access to treatment. He was always thinking about others and taught me to do the same.
There is a saying that really rang true for me when I found out. It's that we all die twice, and that the first time is when we take our last breath and our soul leaves our body, and the second is when our name is spoken for the last time. It means a lot, knowing that his name will live on and will be something that people speak in a context of hope.